I shot way behind that thing. Man, they are huge. That bird is 3 times the size of our woodcock. Got it. My first Scottish anything. Cheers. I need to catch up. This guy can drink. Holy
Well, Nick, how you doing back there?
For most Americans, including myself, when I hear somebody mention Scotland, I immediately think of bagpipes and kilts and castles and even the Loch Ness Monster. But if I've learned anything through my travels, is that you can't get to know a country by its stereotypes. You have to do that firsthand. And that is why I am so excited to be stepping foot in Scotland for the very first time, in its capital city of Glasgow, to learn all about its history and its rich hunting tradition. And in a twist of irony, the guy that's going to show me Scotland is Italian.
Oh, my friend.
How are you? Good to see you. This is my good friend Luca Bogarelli. Luca is not only a legendary big game hunter and author, he's also a manager at Montefeltro, who manage and book high-end exclusive hunting opportunities all over the world. I first met Luca 2 years ago when I hunted with Montefeltro in Italy. Now Luca has invited me to hunt for woodcock on Montefeltro's exclusive property in Scotland. And needless to say, I'm excited to see my old pal. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Since I know that most of you probably didn't pay much attention in European history class, these are the British Isles, also known as the United Kingdom, and it's comprised of the countries of England, Wales, Ireland, and Scotland. And the history of these islands is as complicated and rich as anywhere in the world. The history of Scotland itself is filled with pride and struggle. And while most of us got our Scottish history lesson from the movies and learned about all the war and struggle and strife that the country has had, there is so much more to Scotland's history than that. And then, of course, there's Scotland's legendary beauty. Scotland has over 700 islands, but less than 100 of them are inhabited. And I've come all this way to hunt on one of the inhabited ones called the Isle of Bute. To get there, you need to take a ferry, which leaves out of a little community called Wemyss Bay. And when we arrive there, we've got about an hour to kill before we hop on the boat, and I'm hungry. So I figure, why not go ahead and get my first taste of Scottish food out of the way. So we step into the world-famous McCaskey's Deli, which is proudly home to an award-winning version of an authentic Scottish dish. One that, if I'm honest, I'm kind of scared to try. Hey there.
Hey. Hi.
All right, I think I'm going to regret this.
Okay.
But I want a beer. Would you like a beer?
Yes, of course.
And haggis, neeps, and tatties.
Excellent choice, sir.
Am I going to regret that?
Absolutely not. No.
Are you sure?
Sure, I'm sure.
I'm not so sure.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit scared. Don't be scared. There's only one way to find out.
That's exactly right. All right.
Okay.
Just order it before I change my mind.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Haggis is the national dish of Scotland. And although Scots swear by how amazing it is, I'll admit that I'm skeptical. To start with, the main ingredients are heart, liver, and lungs, typically of a sheep, but sometimes of a cow. And these are mixed all together with things like oatmeal, onion, fat, and all sorts of spices. Then it's encased in the animal's stomach, and then boiled in that stomach until everything's cooked. Sounds lovely, right? Interestingly, the origin of the haggis is believed to be connected to hunters. Things like the lungs and heart and liver spoil quickly, so oftentimes they were cooked right at the site of a kill. And because naturally they didn't carry a big pot with them, they used what they had. They'd chop everything up, put it inside a stomach, and then boil it over a fire, sometimes using the animal's skin as a pot. And nowadays, the haggis is so much a part of the Scottish tradition that it has its own holiday. So surely that means I should trust it, right? Oh.
Potatoes, turnips, or nicks as we call them, peppercorn sauce, and a reward with haggis.
We put the peppercorn sauce on everything.
Just tasting the haggis first.
Yeah, so you want me to get the real experience here.
Straight into the haggis.
Okay. All right, here we go. I'm gonna be honest with you, that's surprisingly good. It's kind of like corned beef hash. I have completely prepared myself for the fact that this was going to be awful, but it's actually really, really tasty. It's kind of spicy, kind of peppery. Surprisingly good considering that it was cooked in a stomach a couple minutes ago. Jeez. Sheep stomach. I actually really like it. Now we just need some gravy. I never thought I'd say it, but I'm giving this dish 2 thumbs up. Luca also agreed.
I'm very surprised. It's very good.
And my mother would be proud that we cleaned our plate. I'm going to be honest with you. I never figured we'd finish that plate.
Yeah, you see.
It's gone. That's how good it is. Well, hopefully that is the beginning to a great trip. A toast. Here's to sheep stomachs and woodcock. There's 2 things I figured I'd never say. Cheers.
Cheers.
And here's to Scotland. This is going to be a good trip, I can tell. Well, now that I've added another item to the long list of strange international foods that I've eaten, we leave Haggishaggis and hop on the ferry that will bring us to the Isle of Bute. I think my favorite part about all these adventures that I get to go on is this moment right here. The moment of discovery. I haven't even stepped foot on this island yet, and I know already that I love it. And I've been in Scotland 2 hours, and I already love Scotland. Welcome to the Isle of Bute, and to its largest town, Rothsay. The island is home to just about 4,000 people. Montefeltro has exclusive hunting rights for woodcock on most of the island, and this Victorian-era guest house built in the mid-1800s will be my home for the next 4 days. There are no Holiday Inns around here, and I can tell already that my first time in Scotland is going to be special. My first morning to hunt has arrived, and as I step outside the guest lodge, I meet the dogs and the team that I'll be hunting with for the next few days. The first is dog trainer and handler Enrico. He's Italian and he works for Montefeltro, but he spends months every year hunting here on the Isle of Bute, and he's joined by his good friend Luigi. But the man of the hour is this guy. His name is Jim Rennie, and he has proudly been a Scottish gamekeeper and guide for over 60 years. As we drive to our first hunting spot, I get my first look at some of the island, and I am blown away by its beauty. I also get my first taste of the legendary Scottish weather, which more often than not consists of clouds and wind and rain. And I'll admit that comes as no surprise to me, but that won't keep me from bitching about it. Come to Scotland, they said. It's going to be great. Everything's going to be awesome. There'll be tons of birds. They didn't mention that we're in a Scottish gale right now. This is what it's like all the time, though, right? Basically, get used to it. Deal with it. I have every bit of clothing that I brought on right now. Now, I might be acting like a little bit of a baby, I admit, but all you gotta do is just look at the cows around here to understand what the weather is like. I bet he's warm. The dogs are released and the hunt begins. The first hour of hunting was rainy and slow, but as a consolation prize, the sun came out for a second, and while everyone stopped to enjoy that for a moment, I got my first chance to get to know my guide and gamekeeper, Jim, who told me a little bit about these woodcock that we're hunting.
They travel by the moon.
They travel at night?
They travel at night.
Really?
Yeah. And they travel with the moon, leading up to the full moon and during the full moon. It's the sort of week leading up to the full moon.
So they come all the way across the ocean at night?
They come all the way across.
From where?
Well, a lot of them that come here come from Siberia.
Really?
But they don't do it in one trip. They hop along as they stop off for a few days here and there on their way. You know, they'll cross through Scandinavia, up to the Orkneys, Shetland, down to into the north of Scotland, then travel down.
That's incredible. What's this stuff here?
That's gorse.
Gorse?
Yes.
I keep getting pricked by this stuff. I've never seen anything like it.
It's not very nice, put it that way. It might be nice to look at, but it isn't very pleasant to walk through.
And it's native here?
Yes.
And so do the woodcock like this stuff?
Yes, for cover.
Well, it hurts. I can feel it coming through my pants. Yeah. It's pretty to look at, but not fun to touch.
It ain't fun to touch.
It's a lot like my ex-wife. Did I say that out loud? I did. I think I did. Before long, the sun disappeared and our hunt starts again. I got to watch Enrico's incredible dogs work, and before long, we had a dog on point.
You shoot.
I shot way behind that thing. Man, they are huge. That bird is twice the size, 3 times the size of our woodcock. That's the size of our grouse. Really? Oh, absolutely. That bird is huge. It was so big that when I saw it flying through here, I go, that can't be a woodcock.
Regardless of the fact that these birds are way bigger than the woodcock we have back home, as you can see for me, that didn't make them any easier to hit. The birds are not only different from what I'm used to, the terrain is different as well. It feels a bit like we're hunting where the hobbits live. Old stone walls and moss-covered trees, and hills where you can see the ocean. This is different from anywhere I've ever hunted. And as I'm reflecting on the beauty of it all, the dog goes on point again and gives me an opportunity to redeem myself.
Got it. Yep. Woohoo! Second shot's a miracle. I almost figured that wasn't going to happen. Yes, sir.
Compliment.
What great dog work. Wow, that was wonderful.
As I watch the dog retrieve my bird, it's hard for me to believe that for centuries, only the rich, nobles, and royals could hunt these lands. But today, even a guy like me can do it, and trust me, I'm neither rich, royal, nor noble. But occasionally, I am pretty lucky.
Wonderful. My first Scottish anything. That is amazing. Big, mature bird. If I don't shoot another one, I'm happy. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Oh, what a beautiful animal. And the very first one right here, going in the pouch. And look at where I am. The ocean, ancient houses. I'm in love with Scotland. Now it's time for some scotch.
There will always be some days when the hunting is spectacular, and some days when it's average. On my first day ever hunting in Scotland, the hunting was slow by their standards, and I only shot 1 woodcock.
Now it's time for some scotch.
And for me, that meant I had a spectacular day. So my guide and gamekeeper Jim Rennie takes me to the local pub to celebrate my first successful hunt in Scotland. You've been a gamekeeper most of your adult life, right?
I started at 16. Well, really, I was brought up with it, of course, because my dad was also, so...
Oh. Your earliest memories are
hunting and...
around the gamekeepers and hunting and everything like that. When you were a kid, say 12, 13, 14, did you always say, I'm going to be a gamekeeper?
I knew I would be. You couldn't have persuaded me anything else.
So, is a gamekeeper a guide?
Yes, he's a guide. He's also a conservationist.
The gamekeeper is a centuries-old profession that is a cornerstone of the European and English sporting tradition. Their job is to not only ensure that there would be adequate game to hunt on private land, but to also act as a guide when those hunts happened. In the early days, many gamekeepers were employed by kings and aristocracy and wealthy families. They raised birds to ensure that there would be plenty to hunt. They managed and improved habitat. They trained dogs, and they kept watch over deer from poachers. To put it plainly, gamekeepers are proud stewards of the land. All this, even though historically it's a job with long hours and little pay.
If you think of it as a job, you're going to fail. It'll never, ever work. It's a way of life. You're not just taking clients out hunting.
Yeah.
You're working to improve the habitat.
You're a guide, a conservationist, a naturalist. I was out with you today and you're telling me about the animals, about the plants,
you've got sort of got to be. It's part of the,
Yeah. If a 16-year-old lad came up to you now and said, I want to be a gamekeeper for a living, what would you tell him?
And I would say go for it. But my big fear of it, for a youngster now, it's dying. Hunting is dying in this country, and that's what I hate to see.
And the lifestyle, therefore, the lifestyle of being a gamekeeper is dying with it.
Yeah.
Here's to keeping it alive. I hope we can.
I hope we can. I hope we can.
The next morning, Jim and I head back to the field. We put the dogs on the ground, and it became obvious really quick that today was going to be one of those spectacular days.
Right there. Three guys shooting at it. We've shot as many birds in 2 or 3 hours as we did all day yesterday.
Yes,
I think the thing I like about this hunt so much, compared to the woodcock hunting I've done back home, is the pace of it. You know, back home we're using these big running retrievers and it's really thick cover, and so, you know, the dog will go on point and everybody just rushes. Here, the Italians and Jim, everybody's just like, chill out, everything's gonna be fine. Would you consider this a good day?
It's a pleasant day. I wouldn't say it's
Pleasant.
It's because of the company, right?
it's because of the company, of course.
No,
There are some places you travel to that you can immediately feel the gravity of history everywhere you look. And when I find myself in one of those places, I make it a point to soak in as much of that history as possible. Here on the Isle of Bute in Scotland, it is clear that this is exactly one of those places. And the more I explored both the countryside and the town of Rothsay, the more overwhelmed I became by the sheer amount of history. For example, one of the coolest things here is Rothsay Castle, which is right in the middle of town. It was built in the 13th century as a stronghold to defend against invading Norsemen, who the Scots battled several times for control of the island. Because whoever controlled the island controlled the waterways around it. And those waterways, called the Firth of Clyde, were then and still are today an important waterway for trade and travel. And that afternoon we headed to the hills above the town. And from there I could see the Firth of Clyde. I could see the castle. And I swear that I could feel the history everywhere. And for me, that's what traveling somewhere to hunt is all about. And it gets me excited.
just when I think I'm the one who's excited to hunt in Scotland, I meet the dog. Are you ready to go? Yes. You go find some birds?
The hunting on my last day of Scotland was epic to say the least, and my hosts from Montefeltro have so much private ground to hunt here that we never stepped on the same property twice the entire trip. And they saved the best for last because we ended up right on the ocean.
These birds fly only at night using moonlight over the ocean, all the way from Iceland and Greenland. They migrate here. And I just can't help but think about the incredible journey that these birds make here. And the fact that most likely some Vikings landed right there thousands of years ago.
No matter how many places I go, I have found one common theme everywhere I've been. And that's that if you pay attention, you can see that those that have come before us have left their mark, some in more noticeable ways than others. We've all said it and heard it 1,000 times. If these walls could talk. When I see an old pub or an old church or even an old castle, I think about the people that shared their highest and lowest moments within them. I think about the weddings, the birthdays, the baptisms that were celebrated, and the funerals that were cried through. We may talk a little different, eat different foods, and have different cultures, but one thing's for sure. Everyone's story begins and ends here on Earth, no matter what country you live in or when you live there. For some reason, I felt a connection to Scotland that was different than most of the places I've been. Maybe it's the sheer amount of history here, or maybe it's because my ancestors walked the very hills that I did, or maybe it's because of an old Scottish gamekeeper who shared his history and his country with me, and who likes cold beer just as much as I do. I will say that I'm impressed because you're the first guy in almost 10 years of doing this TV show that I've sat down that can drink a beer faster than me. So here's to you, sir. You are a man among men. Yes, you are. Cheers. I need to catch up. This guy can drink. Holy